So I want to talk about why I gave up dating as an INFJ. And more or less, the bottom line is there are just too many things about me that are unusual and unique, that I love and wouldn't change. I'd just be surprised if there was someone who loved and understood all of those things and wanted to partner up with all of those things. And I'll go through them. I'm not sure that all of them are directly related to being an INFJ, but this is from an INFJ's perspective. So I know what my values are, and I'm very, very attached to my principles and values. So this person would need to be sort of on the same page or have a reverence for basically share my values. So number one, I'm a militant feminist. So I think that would eliminate a lot of men right off the bat. I'm not the fun kind of feminist. I'm the one who, never date anyone who watches porn. I would never date anyone who said the word bitch, like even in a nice way, like, oh, that's my bad bitch, or like, bitch, what are you talking about? Like even in like kind of a kidding way, I couldn't do it out of principle. So I'm a militant feminist, and I wouldn't expect you to have a PhD in women's studies. In fact, it's probably better because women are not a monolith and we don't have the hive mind, and can be a lot of tense disagreements within our movement. So it might be better for you to be kind of like a neutral presence and just sort of a person who supports it but doesn't take like sort of a strong controversial or non-controversial position in like the debates that women are having as feminists. But anyway, that's so you have to be into the fact that I'm not your typical fun kind of feminist. I'm actually quite strict feminist, militant feminist. So that's number one. And I think that has to do with, I think INFJs tend to be principled. They tend to, a lot of NFs are idealistic, maybe even moralistic, or have sort of like their own moral principles. They have high expectations. They want peace in the world, and they want peace for humanity. So, and as a J personality, I think that manifests in just me having a developed idea of what my principles and values are. And I think that's really essential in a relationship. You have to have shared or compatible values. So I think right off the bat, I'm a radical feminist. I'm a militant feminist. That's going to be something that you're either going to love or you're going to hate. And I know exactly what I want. So if you're someone who doesn't know what they want, or they want something different, then that's going to eliminate you too. And what I want is, I don't want to get married, I don't want to have kids, but I do want a long-term relationship. I do want, doesn't have to be a lifelong commitment, just because who knows where we'll be in, let's say, 10 years from now. But I would like it to be a lasting relationship. Like, for example, it takes a lot of work to begin a relationship, to sustain a relationship, to get over a relationship. You don't want to be constantly in one of those difficult periods. The ideal long-term relationship for me would be somewhere around 10 years, at least, maybe more. So I would call that semi-permanent. But even like, if you're in a 2-year relationship, it's like all that work and then it just ends, and was it really worth it? Even 5 years, not that long for a huge heartbreak. And so, I'm really looking for someone who's capable of that kind of long-term, semi-permanent, you only have one or two in your lifetime type of partnerships. Oh yeah, and another thing that I think would just eliminate a lot of people is I don't want to date you if you're dating anyone else. I don't care if it's a blind date and I've never met you and you don't know what I look like and you know nothing about me. If you're dating someone else, it's awkward to me. For me, if I have a crush on you, that takes up a lot of headspace. And even if I don't, of course, there has to be a trial period and we have to be compatible and we have to spend time with each other and get to know each other and truly fall in love with each other. But I mean, that initial crush in the beginning, to have a crush on someone and then to think about and have a wandering eye to think about dating other people and going on other dates, I just can't relate to that. It's very awkward to me, and I just don't understand if you're very careful and choosy and you really are attracted to the person you're dating, just why you'd want to date people at the same time. And I'm not making a moral judgment so much as it just wouldn't be, you wouldn't want to date me, I wouldn't want to date you if you were this person. And then just being an INFJ, INFJs, I think we all understand the experience of being misunderstood, and we are misunderstood all the time, and you have to be someone who appreciates those INFJ gifts. Hopefully, ideally, it comes natural to you to appreciate them. I've had people say oh, you're so in your head, or you're quiet, is there something wrong? And I don't like that. I don't like to be othered because I'm quiet. I would rather have someone make me feel at ease by asking me questions because they're interested and making me feel comfortable when I answer them so that I want to talk more, which is what we INFJs are so good at. I really want that reciprocation. So you really need to be able to appreciate an INFJ, be attracted to an INFJ, know how to talk to an INFJ. That's a big deal, and that will eliminate a lot of people, because there's a lot of people out there that just don't get it and can't give back. There's some people who just don't appreciate an INFJ at all, and you're throwing, to quote another INFJ vlogger, you're throwing pearls at swine. I love that. When you're providing that attention, that deep listening attention, and you're throwing out these insights, these nuggets of truth, and you're just being dismissed, or you just kind of, the INFJ fade happens, or nobody is really tuned into that. So there's that, and that sucks. But then there's this other thing where people do appreciate the way that you listen to them, but they just don't know how to give it back. And I think a lot of us INFJs, we just tolerate that because, well, there's not a lot of other INFJs. And not only are we the rarest type, but it's also not natural for us to initiate conversations. So it makes it even less likely that we're going to find each other. So I think a lot of us are just used to tolerating that. But as an INFJ, I have high expectations of people and high expectations for who I would want a romantic partner to be. And I would just want that partner to ideally be another INFJ, or just be someone who can give it back, I think some of the other personality types, maybe like INFP, ENFJ, ISFJ, are very capable of mutuality. I am speculating here, but I think with the INFPs, they don't have that extroverted feeling, so they don't really tell you what they're feeling, or mirror back your feelings in to the same extent that you would for them. But if you can kind of know that they love you and that they're giving their time and energy to you in other ways, that could still be really powerful. The ENFJs, as long as they're not spreading themselves too thin with just giving all their gifts to like the world and not spending enough time with you. This is all speculation. I know that they might crave depth, and they might really appreciate that in an INFJ. But anyway, yeah, that mutuality, that reciprocation, I would absolutely need to have. And lastly, I think, I don't know if this has to do with an INFJ, but, I've done a lot of growing. Us INFJs, we grow, therefore we are. I grow, therefore I am. The T-types, they think, therefore they are. We really love to grow, and I think I've done a lot of growing just independently. I haven't done a lot. I haven't like grown with a partner in a relationship, and I don't know if that's made me more stubborn and set into my ways. But anyway, yeah, I don't know if this is like an INFJ thing, but as an INFJ, we are, I think, a little bit more susceptible to narcissists. We're very compassionate, we're highly sensitive people, so this could just look like a juicy prey to an NPD, and we can get taken advantage of. And I just feel like, I'm not the only INFJ who's been a victim of a narcissist, but I would just say for me personally, and I don't know if this is such an INFJ thing as it is for me, but it could be indirectly related to being an INFJ, is I need to be in control of the holding hands, that kind of thing. I need to be in total control of it. I need to know that I'm the one in control. I need to initiate. I need to, if I feel even the slightest amount of pressure, it's going to be a problem. It's not going to work. It's not going to be okay. So those are all of my things, and I think those are a lot of things. Those things would eliminate a lot of people. As INFJs, we don't really love to be the one that initiates, and we don't put ourselves out there that much. It's kind of asking a lot, I think. All those things, like you gotta be this, you gotta have this, you gotta do this. And I don't really see it as like being high maintenance. I just see it as, I know who I am, I know what I want, and I value compatibility. I mean, if you're gonna jump into a relationship because you're super attracted to someone and then find out later that it doesn't work, not me. I mean, I have thought this through. I think, I've had a lot of insights using that dominant function into who I am, what I want, what would be compatible for me. And it's a pretty sharp focus, and it just, unfortunately, I do think that NF, I'm still learning this, makes me idealistic, like this could happen, you never know, it could happen. But I do feel that it just seems like a lot, like these are all of the things that I need, and you need to value me for all these reasons, and it just seems like kind of a stretch, like that it could happen. And I've kind of gotten used to the idea, like, it's likely I'm never gonna find like my soulmate. I'm never gonna find my partner, and that's okay, because we don't need to have partners in life. Like, we are fine the way we are. We can get emotional fulfillment through friendships, through ourselves. But of course I have that desire, and thanks for listening to my thoughts as an INFJ. Leave me what you think. I want to know what you think.